Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, YouTube? Okay, back in the video. Okay, I probably do a story about the game member, Crip game member name was Monster Cody Scott. Yeah, I'm talking about his life and his death. So here you go, man. Okay, Cody, the young Scott, known as Monster Cody, was born in LA, California, on around November 13th of 1963 to Ernest Scott and Birdie Canada, both from Houston, Texas. Cody was the fifth of six children, including four brothers and two sisters: Kevin, Kim, Kerwin, Krishan, Cody, and Candice. And at that moment, Cody believed it was possibly that he was a son of former LA Rams running back Dick Bass, that he was conceived during the adulterous affair that his mom was having with a football star. They claimed that, which was, I think, comparing evidence. And so I think Ernest Scott had a bitter resentment towards Bird Affair, and he had physically abused his wife throughout Cody's early childhood. So I think Ernest Scott physically abused basically physically emotionally abused Cody when he was probably young. Well, I say by beating him and showing deliberate favoritism towards his biological children over Cody, which including taking the other children out to eat, dinners, movies, and trips, to some time to Houston, Texas, and had intentionally leave Cody behind back around the year of I said around the year of 70, of I said around the early 70s, Ernest and Bertie Scott divorced, and I said for the next 5 years, Ernest Scott will visit the family on weekends, but still openly displayed a contempt for young Cody. Back around the year of I think 1972, Bertie Scott and a family moved to a house on West 69th Street and Dingus Avenue. Is a very rough and bad area. It kind of I said very rough and gang infested place on the west side of South Central LA. According to Shakur, he's Scott, his first encounters with the street gang occurring at age 10 when he was assaulted by two 13-year-old boys who stole his money because Bertie Scott worked several jobs to support her family as well as the neglected that he received from Ernest Scott. So young Cody would often hang out with on the streets of his new neighborhood, and around the time he began to hanging out, with his neighbor Stanley Ticket Williams. He was the leader of the West Side Crip street gang. It's according to the book of called Blue Rage Black Redemption book. It says Ticket Williams recalled the occasion that which he and other adult members of the Crips would smoke PCP, lift weights in Williams' house. And according to Williams, Cody were also present in the house and would watch, as the gang members would lift weights and tell stories about gang fights and shootings, that they had done. In the book, Williams also expressed his regret regarding his behavior around the impressionable young Cody, and he himself personally responsible for exposing Cody to drugs and gangs. As Shakur himself would later become a frequent PCP user at the time. Okay, back around he joined the Crips, so back around the year of 1975, he was a member of the West Side Crips, known as Sidewinder, a former set called the A-Tray Gangsta Crips, as well known as the A3GC, the ETGC, and around Cody's neighborhood. Uh, around June 15th of 75, on his day of his sixth grade graduation, Cody was, got, to the gang life, and how he got initiated with the ETGs. Shakur was courted into the gang known as being jumped in or being beat up. And so at the time, Cody got a lot of crimes, basically, with the gang by him trying to hire a stolen car in which he had several members of the ETGs, That was armed with revolvers and shotguns. They tracked down their members of the Brim street gang known as the Bloods, which has been hanging out in the Crip neighborhood. The ETCs opened fire on the group, approximately 15 Brims, shooting several of them. Shakur, armed with I saw a shotgun, a saw track. Yeah, he was armed with a sawed-off 12 gauge shotgun and had instructed not to return to the car unless he used all 8 rounds of the weapon and shot several Brim gang members that evening. And so now he got his name by him on I guess being up a man. So it says as a new member of the Crip, Shakur was mentored in a way of basically I think game banging by the Trey Ball around 77 when he was 13 years old. Shakur, Kody Scott and Trey Ball attempted to rob I saw older African American man who was walking down their block, and so the man had punched Kody in the face, and after being physically restrained by the Trey Ball, when he so so I think he attempted to run and was kicked and stumped by Kody for possibly 20 minutes. So Kody fished the attack. The man left the man in a coma, and his face was permanently damaged in the figure, man. And so according to the cops, it said the cops that came to the scene to where the man, got his face, beat in, and so they had heard, the officer saying that whoever who did this man badly was a monster. How they do Kody Scott, so I think I got his name for the him by. So I think he got his name for being up a man called Monster. So he got his name Monster by the time and okay, now I got to his first shootout. So okay. It's a Kody Scott, first encounters, around 78, age 14 years old, when he shot an employee, of a fast food restaurant who had assaulted his younger brother, Christian, and was later assaulted with put a gun out on Kody. So Christian Scott later joined the H-Ray and assumed his nickname is called Lil Monster. It's a week after being released from jail. Carter was arrested again after being falsely accused of shooting of a member of the Inglewood Family Bloods, while members of the Crips were on their way to, roller skate ring in California on back around February 14th of 79. So Shakur was arrested for assault and grand theft auto and was served 9 months in the Camp Milnes in Lake Hughes, California, man. Okay, he got a lot of it says that he was involved in the it's a fight between the H-Rays and the Rolly Sissy's Crip gang back in the 70s. And it said during Shakur as on the month of Kody at Camp at Moonies, several major events occurred on the streets of LA, that involving the Crips. Back around March 15th of 79, the West Side Crip leader, Stan Tucker Williams, was arrested for 4 murders committed during 2 separate robberies while on alleged drug binge to his death. William steadfastly, got not committed except for the murders, and he was got sentenced to death back around December 13th of 2005, and so I thought another member Raymond Washington, was killed in a drive-by shooting back around 79 by him, being killed by the gang member, so called the Hoover Criminals or Hoover Gang. So he was got shot before, so he got shot in the the gang war. It says Kody along with a friend Dimitri Crazy Denard was deeply involved in the gang war and was responsible for shooting and assaulting dozens of members of the Royal 60s back around December 31st of 1980. 16-year-old Kody Scott was ambushed and shot 6 times by 3 adult members of the of the Royal Sisters gang. I say after being selected by some group of girls who was dating friends from the set, perhaps that would save his life. In fact, that early the evening Kody had been drinking a cheap of brand low end verified wine known as a night train. He smoked PCP. I said other members of the gang and how they were celebrating New Year's Eve. And so levels of inspiration that Cody Scott was under the time of shooting, preventing him from going into having been shot. Shakur reportedly having type of hallucinations. I seen face of his gang members that he had shot since joining the Crips, and what has been as seen an infant daughter. They had I said girlfriend called Tamu. So I think he had survived the shooting. It was hospitalized for several weeks, and Shakur youngest brother Krishan, who is by now a member of the A Trades, and how he was named as on the Monster, had got revenge for his other brother's shooting. So on I think New Year's Day around '81, Krishan and several other teenage members of the ETGs committed a string of I guess I guess a couple shootings, and how Krishan shot two teenagers who were standing in front of the yard, at a house party that's being thrown in the Rochester's neighborhood, and later being in the evening shot another teenage to death, in drive-by shooting. So the man, I still walking down the street, and Krishan was later I got arrested sentenced to 5 years in as a California Youth Authority for murder as a juvenile while recovering in hospital. Kody Scott, assailants from the Ross-60s, kind of put an attempt to finish him off due to intervention of a nurse who was standing. Uh, he was nurse who was attending the stand, attending him. However, Shakur was unharmed, and when he was released from the hospital, he continued gang banging. He was spent his life, in 1980s, in and out of jail due to I say what violent offenses. So he said during time, he would change his name from I must have called Scott to Sanikya Shakur during the '80s. He was befriended members of the I say of the Republican and New African movement, and Shakur, who had dropped out of high school, began to educate himself in prison. He changed his name to Sanikya Shakur, began changing his from his viewpoint in life about his role of black people. I say in the U.S. After being released from prison around '88, Kody married his longtime girlfriend Tamu. It's during that time around '91. Kody was arrested for assault and grand theft auto as being so I guess he was caught, I guess, for being a crack dealer who was, I guess, was a police officer informant, but and how he stole dude's van, and he was got arrested doing that too. LA riots that occurred in a quarter of four police officers accused of beating Wright King at the time during a chopper stop. And so I think he got let me see. I think he made his book. So he had yeah, I think he had made his book called Monster, the autobiography of the LA gang member. So back around '93. So it's in that time. He made Tupac at the time. How they met Tupac, how he met a lot of people. So I think so it says around the mid '90s, Kody was called himself as Shakur Shakur, who made Tupac Shakur, and so I guess that was kind of knew each other, I guess, and how Tupac was a known rapper at the time, and so I think Tupac was killed in and I said Vegas and how he was shot, a couple times in Vegas, and how Kody was in jail. So I think he got out of jail. I say right after he did his time in prison. So man, it says back around the yeah, I probably said around the 2000s. I think around March '07, Kody got caught fully I guess for violating his parole. And so I think he was named as the most wanted gang member list. He was arrested by the LAPD for allegedly, I guess, breaking into a home of acquaintance and beating him to order to steal his car. The charge would represent a third strike that could send him back to prison. And so back around May 2008, he played no contest, basic carjacking and I get robbery charges, and how since he's in prison. And so back around the year 2013, he made I think he made his third book called Stand Up, Struggle Forward, and New African Revolutionary Writings on Nation, Class, and Pottery. Back around a year of I think around back around July 10th of 2017, he got set up at the prison for assault of conviction out of Sanikya, California. So he was sentenced to college. Yeah, he was got sentenced to do a lot of time in Centella State Prison. I said which is in Imperial, California, and he was later sent to Salino State Prison in Foster called Vacaville, California, and was interviewed by a radio program called Uncuffed. So he was out, on parole at the time, and his death, man. Back around June 6th of 2021, Kody Scott was found dead, in a I said a tent somewhere in outside California, and his death wasn't like known at the time, and so he was, I could find dead. So man. So it says that type of if I play involved in the death. So, but man, so I possibly I pray to the Monster Kody, man. Yeah, I pray to Monster Kody, known as Sanikya, Shakur. So much y'all like, comment, and subscribe. So peace. I'm out here. Take care. Peace.